provide essential goods and services that communities so desperately depend on. Look, our recovery plan also calls for an increase in the minimum wage at least $15 an hour. No one in America should work 40 hours a week, making below the poverty line. $15 gets people above the poverty line. We have so many millions of people working 40 hours a week, working, and some with 2 jobs, and they're still below the poverty line.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology, and I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign of what's going to happen to these other workers moving forward.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, you know, I come back with that second video just to make you think. And as planned, when it comes to this stimulus package, everything is surrounded around the people. So we know the people are not going to be upset with $15 an hour. They're not going to be upset with stopping evictions, funding small business. But guys, what's the point that's leaving out right now? Is that the Fed caused the problem. The C word is nothing but a distraction for them to move in the digital economy. That's what this bill is going to be about. It's going to be about the infrastructure of the new economy. Now, this bill has $15 an hour for federal employees. Guys, we know that minimum wage should be $30 an hour for majority of the United States and about $50 an hour if you live in California, New York, just to live decent. But we know this is a capitalistic country. So with capitalism, you must have what? The poor, the slave. We know that most small businesses can't afford to pay $15 an hour. But guess what? They have a solution coming right behind that. It's called automation. And everything is going to be automated. So therefore, if you have a business, you may have just one employee and the rest is going to be machines. Guys, this is set up by design. We know eventually this free money will end. But it's not going to end until they get this fourth industrial revolution set up. Because remember what the World Economic stated. You will own nothing, but you will be happy. So if you look at the current economy, if you read my book, we know that we don't own anything anyway. I don't care what you pay off, you still have to owe taxes. But with this new economy, there's not going to be any jobs for majority of people that's good paying. And they know this. So that's why what? Universal basic income is going to come. And 60 to 70% of the population won't own a home. So guys, remember, when it comes to the New World Order, everything is planned out. Have a wonderful day.
I think we should focus on a living wage versus a minimum wage because, you know, living in Alabama and living in New York City are very different, different economies. So that would be my first thought. My second thought is, listen, the bulk of people making less than the minimum wage don't work for small mom and pop businesses. They work for the big box retail stores. 85% of people that work in big box retail make less than the living wage in the county they live in. That's crazy. That's the Home Depots of the world. That's the Lowe's of the world. It used to be Walmart until it got so much pressure. It's quick service restaurants, and so these are big chains where people are making lots of money. It's unethical for someone to work a 40-hour week and make, $8 an hour. It just doesn't add up, especially.
But they're mostly going up, Mike. A lot of those, Target, Walmart, all those places, without any government intervention or marketplace finagling, they've all gone up to, they're paying $15 already, and that's organic. And
they've got
in a strong economy. In a strong economy, you're trying to get a bunch of workers, and they can demand that to pay.
But Joe, I think in a lot of reasons, Amazon moved its wages, Walmart's moved its wages because of political pressure, because of social and political pressure, because of AOC screaming at them and say, how can you not pay any tax and pay your workers so little? How can the government be subsidizing your employees with food stamps, right? It was like $3 billion of food stamps the government pays into Walmart employees who then spend them at Walmart. That just doesn't make sense when Walmart's one of the most profitable companies in the world. It just doesn't.
Kevin?
The market is an amazing thing. The American entrepreneur is a force of nature. And by putting any kind of constraint on their decisions in terms of battling back from basically an economy that was shut down on them for no fault of their own is a huge mistake. My whole point is it's not the time. Now's not the time.
The market hasn't worked for 50% of our economy for a long time. And the medicine that, the central bank governors and the Treasury chiefs continue to get
hold on. 50% of the jobs in America come from small businesses. Half the economy is driven by the ones that you just poo-pooed and said, no, it's all about Walmart. No, it isn't. It's all about my businesses that hire 28 people, that start and grind it out, their family businesses in Oklahoma and Tallahassee and Chicago suburbs. They're the ones. They can't afford $15 minimum wages. They're the ones. They're the American entrepreneurs.
We had our capital attacked 2 weeks ago. We have this tension in America because
what does that have to do with the minimum wage?
It has a lot to do with it because we have a huge gap between rich and poor, which continues to get wider every year between Republican and Democrat administration, and it's fraying the social fabric of our country, period. And that's why we have both populist movements on the right and the left.
Why wouldn't you support starting businesses and giving them a tax break for 24 months and not binding them by any minimum wage? Why wouldn't you do that? Why couldn't you get behind that?
I would support tax breaks for new businesses, and I would give them a break on the minimum wage for a small period of time.
You're talking.
But that's small businesses. I think the bulk of what I think we need to shift is how we think about employees in our bigger businesses. Listen, 20 years ago, you used to get a job as a janitor working for a company like Apple, and you'd get health care, and you'd get the college program if there was one. Today, that's all outsourced. And so this drive to have only shareholder value as the only beacon just doesn't work anymore. It's why people are moving to multi-stakeholder capitalism.
Anytime the system goes under stress, anytime there's a financial correction, people point to saying capitalism doesn't work, it's got to be changed. You don't change it. You don't touch it. It is basically working all the time, but it has an element of volatility to it. I don't think putting a new cost in some regions, it could be as high as 25%.
We've always put rules around capitalism. We don't let children under 12, tie little knots and make rugs anymore because we thought that was unethical. Like, we're allowed to put rules around capitalism. We have from the very beginning. And so having some rule where we say there's
decentralized future, decentralized health, decentralized finance. We know it's coming, guys. Ben Gertzel has something for him. Singularity net is coming. The digital economy is coming.